right, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about my experience with advertising. Before I talk about insurance, I just want to give you a little bit of background. So at one time in my career, I was a general manager for an A1 mobile home dealership. And I had a pretty nice advertising budget. And I was able to spend $5,000 a month, every month, any way I wanted it. I could use it on radio, I could use it on print, I could use it on television. And I experimented, I did that for like 6 years, right? So I experimented a lot. I've done radio remotes. I had my own radio program in Spanish. And I'll just tell you, this is a quick joke, right? So we sold mobile homes. So the name of our personalities was Holmesy Homes, right? And so Homes and Homes was the personalities. But anyway, so, and I've done a lot of print, you know, smaller, let's say neighborhood papers like Thrifty Nickel, Prime Time, stuff like that, and then the bigger paper in San Antonio. But one thing, and this is gonna, you know, come to play here later, is that whenever you're advertising like that, print or radio, you can never really dictate or determine how many leads you're gonna get. So in other words, like let's say I put a radio promotion together, so this promotion is gonna cost me $3,000, right? I couldn't really know ahead of time how many people were gonna come to the store or how many times it was gonna make the phone ring, right? Like we would keep tabs on that. We had a special phone number, and every time the phone rang, it was like a little clicker. Like we try to keep tabs. We try to document to keep tally on, you know, what was the most effective. But you didn't know ahead of time, right? So just kind of save that. Later we're gonna refer back to it. But let me get into life insurance. So 9 years ago, October makes 9 years for me. I started off with Bankers Life and Casualty in San Antonio, Texas, right? So I started with Bankers Life. Medicare supplements is the primary, I'm going to say, entry into the household. From there, you know, you're looking for annuities and, you know, final expense, right? Well, at Bankers Life, it's a captive agency. You know, they had this big room, right? It kind of reminded me of like I don't know, like a boiler room, right? And you have all these cubicles. There's probably like 50 agents. We went in there, and the main thing that they had us do was call list, right? So they had data of people that were turning 65, right? Now these people didn't request any information, right? So we're cold calling them, right? So I mean, like I said, a big old room. You'd be in there, you'd be calling all day. I'd say it'd take, you know, a good 8-9 hours to make about 300 calls, right? Like all day you're calling, right? You're just one dial after another, and you're tick marking them. All day calling, maybe set 5-6 appointments, right? Cold calling. Then once you did that for a while, then they say, okay, well, you know what, you can buy leads. These are some of our leads. The only thing I didn't like about the leads, well, first off, I didn't know no better, right? But like their leads were expensive. I was paying like $45 a lead. But then I would call that lead, and then I'd hear somebody 2 or 3 cubicles over calling the same person a few minutes later. You know, so they were selling us the same leads for $45 a piece. And sometimes I'd call a lead and they'd say, oh, you're the 7th person that's called me today. You know, like it was really, really a struggle, right? But you know what? You know, I was there for a year. I made it work, right? I made it work, but I knew there'd be a better system, right? So I met this other gentleman. He started telling me about their system, which was Federal Financial, right? So Federal Financial was geared towards these younger business owners, right? Kind of like, you know, let's say the small business owner, right? And they're supposed to be high income earners. And they say, Jimmy, you don't have to prospect. You don't have to make no phone calls. You don't have to buy leads. You don't have to do none of that. We're going to give you 2 appointments every day. All you got to do is just show up. I'm like, man, that's what I'm looking for. So I show up, right? As I mentioned earlier, I showed up. Most of these people had no interest in my product. All they wanted was the free vacation that they were promised for making the appointment, right? So I struggled with that. I stayed there about 6 months. It was really a struggle. I was like, oh man, my wife was just on my case. This isn't working. You know, you need, why'd you do this anyway? You were making really good money. We never had to worry about money. Now we're struggling. You know, all all this stuff, right? So I said, okay, well, let me go back to work. So went back to work. I went to work at AT&T part-time, and then I kept selling insurance part-time on the side. Well, then the next opportunity that came my way was a network marketing with insurance. And the name of that was People Helping People, or PHP, right? Well, the founder, his name is Patrick, but David, I kind of like nicknamed it like PHP really is People Helping Patrick, right? Because he's the one that's making all the money, right? So I didn't know no better again. I went to that organization. I started off thinking my contract was like at 25%. It was ridiculous, right? And they pride themselves on it's all referral business, but that's not really so straight up, right? So what they do is they'll take a new recruit, like let's say I'm recruiting you. What's your name, sir?
Terry.
Terry. So let's say I recruit Terry, and I get Terry, and he's got his notebook right here, and I tell him to give me his top 20 list, top 20 friends and family that he knows, and then I get him to set up an appointment with his friends and family so that they can help train him so he can start his new career, right? So then I go out there with Terry, and I'm meeting, and I'm doing the presentation, and he's observing, but I close the deal, and see, he can't get paid on it because he's not licensed yet, right? Except I was Terry, right? I was licensed, but they said, well, we know you're licensed, but you know, you got to give us 10 deals before you can go on your own. I just didn't think that that was right. That never sat right with me, right? So that didn't last long. Boom, in and out of there, right? Next one I went on with was a property and casualty company. A friend of mine owned a business, established clientele. Most of her clients were business clients, and you know, I thought that was going to be a really good opportunity. However, she saw the opportunity and how much money could be made on the life insurance side, and she kept promising to give me a list of names of people that I could work to call in, bring in. She never got that. Months went by. I got frustrated. She wanted to offer me a promotion, right? I was like, well, I'm the only person here. What kind of promotion are you going to give me? Who am I over, right? So we parted company, and I went off on my own. And I said, well, you know what? I think if I'm going to have to promote myself, I'm gonna do it, you know, with my own contract, right? So I started my own agency. I had my own contracts direct with the IMO, so I didn't have no hierarchy, right? It's just me and the IMO, and I had good carriers, but I didn't have no customers, right? And so I started doing the, you know, like let's do the network, not network marketing, but the networking arena, right? So I joined Chamber of Commerce, Business Chamber of Commerce, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Started going to all these events, meet a lot of business people. You know, first off, it's expensive to join, and the second thing is expensive. You still have to pay for the events, right? So you still got to go pay. You know, you get to eat and drink and stuff like that. And I got to rub shoulders with some popular local people, but you know, the sales were not a whole lot. I mean, that takes a lot of cultivating, right? You got to get to know people. It takes time. So all that cultivation doesn't put no money in your pocket today, you know. So I also looked online. There's a thing out there called Meetup, right? And you can do some meetup groups, right? So Meetup is like, let's say for example, if you're into photography, you can join a Meetup photography group, and then this group meets up, right? And they talk about photography. Maybe they go take pictures and do this Meetup group for gardening over here, or maybe mechanics, or whatever type of hobby or interest you have, right? So I started joining up all these meetup groups. I was into photography, I was into gardening, I was into this, I was into that. Business people, right? So I'm going to all these meetings trying to make my connections. So I'm telling you, I did all of that, right? I did social media. Maybe it's changed a little bit now, but like 9 years ago, I got to tell you, or 5 years ago, really, social media at that point for insurance sales is very slow coming. Like, it's almost a full-time job. I remember at that time my LinkedIn account, like I was so aggressive. I wanted to be at that top percentage, and I was finally ranked #1 in my list of peers or my network, right? And it took a lot of, you know, posting and friends and recommendations, and it's like a full-time job. And I don't think I ever got one sell out of LinkedIn, right? Mainly I got a lot of people trying to recruit me for them or sell me something else, right? So that didn't work. And I was like, well, I don't have the money for radio and print and advertising. And I was getting frustrated, and that's when I came across Senior Solutions. Now here's we're gonna come full circle, is that with Senior Solutions, we offer a direct mail lead. That's our main lead, right? We have other leads too, telemarketed leads, Facebook leads, stuff like that, but I just wanna concentrate about direct mail. And so when I came on with Senior Solutions, this is what I loved about it, because I can buy a lead at $29.75 or 95 cents, right? Let's just call it 30 bucks. If I buy 20 leads, that's 600 bucks, right? But I know my cost for the lead. It's 30 bucks. So think about it. If I get $600 and I give it to the lead vendor, right? I'm gonna get 20 leads. I know exactly how many I get. So like what I was talking about earlier, when I would advertise, I never knew what my return was gonna be. Well, it's mathematical, I know exactly. Out of those 20 leads, here's the math. Like 60% will sit with you. So that means 12 people out of 20, you'll be able to make a presentation to. Now, if you talk to any insurance organization, they're gonna tell you to be a successful agent, you need to have 12 to 18 appointments. A lot of them say 12 to 15, but between 12 and 18 appointments a week, and you'll be successful. Well, you buy 20 leads, boom, there's your 12, right? Out of those 12, if you're a rookie, you've never sold insurance before, you're gonna sell half of them, right? If you've been insurance salesman, right, or agent, you have some sort of experience, you should sell 60% of them. Or if you've been in sales, maybe not in insurance sales, but you've been in sales, you have that skill set, you should sell 60% or higher, right? And so for me, it was 60% when I first started. So that means I would meet with 12 people and I would write 7 to 8 apps a week, every week, consistently, boom, boom, boom. So if you do the math and you say, okay, well, it costs $600 for advertising, well, how much are you making? So let's just go with the average is $54 a month, that's $650 AP. You know, if you're at 100% commission, that's $650 commission. You multiply that times 7 or 8, you're making money. You're making $4,200, you take out the 600, you're at 3,600 bucks, right? If you're at an 85% contract, take off 15% of that. But I would have to say, you know, you're gonna make profit $2,400 to $3,000 a week, very realistically. All you got to do is spend the advertising. So again, going back to the direct mail lead, is that you pay for 20 leads, you get 20 leads. And now you got 20 people to prospect, 20 people that filled out this card requesting the information. And the card simply says, you know, if you're 50 or older, you may be eligible, right, for coverage up to $25,000 or $35,000 of coverage, you know, for your final expenses, right? And then it goes on to say, you know, that it's life insurance. And we have different leads, so they're worded differently, right? But the word life insurance is usually in the first or second sentence. There's no, you know, free gift card to your favorite store. There's no free vacation, right? There's none of that. They are receiving this card in the mail. They have to open the envelope, so it's not a postcard. They have to read it, fill it out by hand, stick it back in the envelope, lick it, put it in the mailbox, right? So it takes a little bit of effort, not a lot. But what I'm trying to say is they're doing all of this at their own will, at their own leisure. There's nobody there like a telemarketer pushing them into it, right? They filled it out. They're interested. So when you get those 20 leads, think about what I said earlier. You're going to make 6 to 7, maybe 8 sales a week. That means the rest of them didn't buy. It's not a guarantee that they're going to buy. It's just that they're interested. It's your job to take them the information, and it's a numbers game. If you actively work it, the numbers are going to work out. You're going to make 6 to 8 sales a week, every week, if you're buying 20 leads a week, right? Maybe you're going to do this part-time and you're going to buy 20 leads every other week. Well, then you should be making 6 to 8 sales every other week, right? If you get really good at it and you say, hey, well, can I buy more leads? Yeah, you know, maybe buy 21, buy 23, you know, whatever number. There's no special denomination. You can buy leads in any quantity that you want. You know, maybe you don't need 20 a week, maybe only 115. We can do that for you. There's two ways to make more money, actually three ways. One, you know, you can get more proficient at what you do, learn how to close, right? Learn your product, learn how to present, and, you know, so you get better at your job and you offer more value, you can close more deals, right? You can take more leads, you can buy more leads, that means you're in front of more people, right? Or thirdly, because you're doing a lot of production, that puts you at a higher rank and tier, right? So the one thing I love about us is that our minimum, the trainee, the brand new agent that has no experience starts at 85% contract, right? That other place that was in network marketing, not even the regional marketing director is at 85, right? Like that's what they strive to get to, their regional marketing director. They're not even paid at 85. That's where we start at, right? But based on your production, you can rank up. And it doesn't mean that you have to recruit anybody. You don't have to recruit anybody. You can just be solo and make a ton of money. But if you want to build the team, let's say you get really good at it, and you say, hey, well, can I invite my friend? Can I, you know, start building a team? You bet you can build a team. And we have a platform for that, so we can show you, you know, how to grow a team, build a team, and help you move up the ranks even further. So you can move all the way up to 135% contract with Senior Solutions. So I mean, to me, that's fabulous, right? So who'd like to earn their way up to 135? That's amazing, right? So think about this: if you're at 100 and I don't know, let's just say you're at 120, right? That gives you a lot of opportunity to recruit people. You can recruit people that are even senior reps because you have a lot of cushion to recruit them, right? So it just gives you a lot of flexibility, but it's all based on your production. So the more you produce, the higher rank you go. Once you achieve a level, you don't have to worry about qualifying. You're locked in, right? So that's really about it. Does anybody have any questions on advertising? No? All right.